Got a pen. Yes.
Yes, you are live. It's always a good thing, just like quick. Yep, we're live.
We're good.
We're live here. We are. You are more than alive today. Look at you. It's a Humicorn kind of day.
Yeah,
So,
it is.
I'm
Everyone
not sure
needs a bit
why.
of magic in their life.
All right, let's bring some magic. We're going to bring some magic. People had to create their own magic in their life today. Sprinkle some unicorn fairy dust.
Yep.
We're going live on Instagram over here. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. We're live on LinkedIn. We are live in Perth. We are live in Queensland. Well, somewhere in Queensland, I'm sure. Anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
Although it is a rainbow balls kind of day in Queensland. It's a little bit chilly. It's dropped to below 20 degrees, Dave. Can you believe it?
I know,
rude.
you poor thing.
What
below
is
20.
This?
We're sitting here at
I know.
13 degrees and cloudy in Perth.
Oh,
However, nonetheless, I was thinking about our live stream this morning, and I was thinking, oh, the irony.
Tell me about the irony.
Yeah, the irony, man. I know.
I was thinking about how much I hate ironing.
Yeah. No, the irony of it all is we were... because we've changed from our regular program schedule of live streams and the content we've been sharing with everybody, because we have a big event coming up in Queensland, plus a few other things happening, and the Your Best Year Ever workshops we've been running, which we've been getting great feedback on. We paused the regular routine, and then we're saying, okay, so we've got this, and like, oh crap, what are we going to do for this week's live? And we had to make a decision on what to make for this week's live. And then there was something else going on. Like, oh, we have to make a decision on the change in the newsletter. And we have to do all these there's all these little short, small decisions coming up. And then when I was thinking about, oh, what are we going to do for the live stream? I thought, well, we should probably do one on decision making.
Yep.
Right. So hence this thing is this. Not that those were tough decisions, but there are many tough decisions that business owners and leaders have to make when they're out, in the world of business today, especially in the crazy world that we're living in now. Sometimes we need to make those decisions faster. But the challenge is a lot of business owners and leaders, as you and I have experienced as we've traveled around this great country and deal with people online all around the world, is that they feel that they're the only ones who can make the decisions.
And to your point, Dave, they're tough decisions to be made. But there's also a bunch of simple decisions every single day that can feel like really hard decisions. Like it's probably less about the fact that is this an easy or a hard decision, and more about the fact that it is so freaking busy that sometimes, I don't know about you, I'm standing there going, this is an easy decision, but I'm so squeezed right now. I don't have any capacity. And so even though whether it's easy or hard is null and void, because right now I feel like a deer in the headlight, because I've got no space or capacity to make this decision, whether it's easy or not. And so this is why today is really amazing, and how we're practitioners. We're not theorists. Yeah. And the very fact that we this week have been delivered to a space where we've got to use our tools and it be really successful, and we get to share that with you guys. It's like, here's how we utilize what we're about to share with you, and maybe why we've been put in this position to remind us, hey, this is a really great thing to remind people about as we shift through life. Whether it's easy or hard is null and void. Sometimes we have no space or capacity to even make the easiest decisions, like what to have for breakfast, except that should be cake. So yes. Anyway, tangent. Unlike me, right? Unlike me.
So sometimes a lot of business owners, leaders, etc., are out there at like decision fatigue.
Oh, so much.
They've been making so many decisions themselves. Remember when we were first talking to Paul in Canada, and he said, "Dave, I'm getting bogged down in decisions about how many staples we bought." And I'm like, why is it getting to your role, your function, where you're talking about like staples? Why are your team not empowered to make those sort of decisions? Now, it's not a small company. They have 130 almost employees over 3 different companies, and he's getting involved in the debate about how much we're spending on staples. Now, That's not to blame the team. It's just that why, you know, and it was put back onto him as the leader, which he totally understood and expected that would probably come back to him, is that you've been allowing these things to happen. Like, why are you getting yourself involved? Why have you not empowered your team to make even those sort of simplest of decisions? Because well, sometimes what people don't realize is the amount of time and energy that you're wasting being involved in some of these decisions, even the little ones that they're costing a lot of money. Like when you work out, here's a simple decision to make as a business owner or leader, if you're watching this. What is an hour of your time worth? Like if I want to, and I say like, you know, a lot of people just take their wage or their salary, they'll divide it by 2,000, you know, hours, whatever, 50 weeks, by 40 hours per week. And they go, oh, it's worth this much. If you're a business owner or leader right now, whatever it is, if your business is let's say it's a $6 million business, for example. Okay, your business generates $6 million in revenue per year. As the CEO, business owner, leader, founder of your business, assuming you work at least 2,000 hours in your business, your time is worth at least $3,000 an hour. And when you put it into perspective, because you're responsible for an organization that's supposed to be generating $6 million in revenue, like in terms of dollar value worth of business. And so your time would be approximately $3,000 an hour. So is it worth you sitting there having a debate for half an hour about a $50 box of Staples when you should be generating $1,500 in revenue for the business, or making sure the business is generating $1,500 in revenue to do other things? Hey, Joe Burston has just joined us online on Instagram. By the way, Joe Burston is the founder of Inspiring Rare Birds, which I'm an ambassador of, and
hey Joe,
fortunate enough to be a mentor with the organization. What an amazing organization that started out mentoring female leaders and entrepreneurs, and is expanded and actually expanding out of Australia now. So Joe does amazing work. If you're ever interested in becoming a mentor with female leaders, entrepreneurs, or any female leaders or entrepreneurs out there who would love to become a mentor for people, or any guys as well, please reach out to Joe and the team at Inspiring Rare Birds. Amazing organization. I know Tiana from our team is. I know Lisa, you've expressed interest that you're now wanting to join into that and become a mentor through there as well, which is amazing. So Joe, thank you for all the work you do in the world. And thank you for tuning in. So decisions, yeah. So it's really getting to understand that, you know, that a simple tool is to say, well, what would be my time worth? And it's not like that your time's worth more than anyone else's in the business, but each role has a responsibility to the organization in terms of why the role exists. It matters to help fulfill the purpose, and the purpose there to serve the customers. So if we start to understand that, we go, well, why am I getting involved in this level of decision making? Right? Why have I not empowered people who are very capable, who are once again have a value that they bring to the organization as well, to actually be involved in this decision?
And this is something that Corey's doing really well.
Yeah. So if you look at Corey at Carbon Diamond, like once again, because he's evolving in his role and responsibilities and his, you know, capabilities and capacity for greatness as his organization is expanding across the country, he has to be able to empower his team to make decisions that he may have used to make. Well, in most cases, he was the one who had made them. So this is a really important thing. So I want people to understand, like, this is so critical, and it's simple. The simplest way to look at it as a leader, a business owner, is going, why am I being involved in this? Because when it's a tangible cost, you can go, oh, hey, I can see that. I can see the $50 on Staples. What I don't realize is the intangible cost of the time, energy, and money of me not empowering the team to be able to make those sort of decisions in my absence, or with me around. I shouldn't have to be involved in that. And that if you can put a figure to it, all of a sudden your mind can go, oh, 1,500 versus 50. Well, if I said here's $50 or here's $1,500, which one are you going to focus on? Like, it's, you know, what do I have to do to make the 1,500 rather than stop spending the 50? So it's just a great way to get your mind around, and it's a notional number, whatever it is, but think about it in that context. And we challenge leaders on this, I think, especially from choosing time. And you know, even you guys with me, it's like, Dave, is this the best use of your time? Is this what, you know, is this the work that Dave must do? And why are you involved in this? Let us handle that. And you're just like, yeah, you're right. You know, like, you know, I'm going out seeing clients yesterday and you know, bringing in new clients into our organization so we can give service to them. Or I could be sitting here debating, you know, which color the font should be. like it doesn't matter. Like it's pick your relevant decisions that are that make the most value of your input or capabilities for the organization. So,
and a side note,
yeah.
I was just going to say a fun application of this is when you've been on hold to Telstra or a telco or something for ages, utilities. I probably shouldn't name anyone. I have sat there. Maybe this makes me an asshole of a person or resourceful or both. I don't know. But I'm like, guys, I charge myself out at X amount of hours. So who am I going to make my invoice out to for lost time and revenue having talked to you guys? And I got a $1,500 credit on my account once because they credited me back for what I quoted my time was worth. It was great. So that's a fun application of it if you want to test it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, once again, how do you value your time? How do you value that? And in context of the decision making process, the amount of time, that energy that needs me to be involved for, it's not necessarily what my worth. Like I'm worth just as much as you are, as much as Jordan is, as worth Tiana is to our organization. There's nobody who's above our purpose or our values or anything, but we all have different roles and responsibilities within our organization, and we all get remunerated differently in our organization based on those responsibilities. So based on that, I should be making decisions in lens of those things. All right. And so it's really important for people to think about that, right? And just more people joining us on our live stream here on Instagram. One of them is one of the most amazing human beings on the planet, my son. Hey, Dylan.
Hey, Dylan.
Yeah. Hey, so the next thing I want to talk about is so just getting that concept in place. But what does it mean to make a decision? Like, what is decision? What is decision or deciding? And you know me, I love words. So
you do.
If you go back to the root of the word decide, or the etymology of the word decide, from the Latin derivative of decidere, which means to cut off.
Bye.
So deciding itself is all about making a decision to what to cut off. Right. So it's basically what to say no to, so you can say yes to what matters. No different to that whole thing is saying, like, say no to your involvement in a $50 staple discussion and say yes to opportunities to find new ways to drive revenue or grow the business or work with the team or evolve the business, evolve the team, to do all these things that you need to do. Decide means to cut off. Okay. So how do we make decisions in our organization? It's about learning what to say yes to and what to say no to. And if we go, I'm going to say no to that so I can say yes to this. And there's people who just say yes to everything, right? Sometimes, and this was a lesson I had to learn, is I got to learn what to say no to so I could say yes to these things. And there's a great example of that. We're going to have to find the blog post. It was a blog post I read ages ago about Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, right? Took over from Steve Jobs. And Tim Cook was telling the story about how he went to a board meeting at Apple, and the Apple board are going, how come we're not doing this, and how come we're not doing that, and all these things, and like, why aren't we doing all these things? And Tim Cook lays like the iPad, the iPhone, the iPod, and a couple of things on the table. He says, we say no to all that so we can go all in and say yes to these things. And this is why we're a X billion-dollar company, because we say no to that and yes to this.
I love that. And the same is so true for my experience in the fitness profession. People get so caught up on what they're saying no to. No, I can't have that cake for breakfast. No, I can't have that extra glass of wine. No, I can't do these things. And I know that I talk tongue in cheek about, is it possible to have cake for breakfast and be fit, healthy and strong for a lifetime? Yes, it is. But sometimes along certain parts of your journey, you need to be a little bit discerning around that. And so instead of feeling sad about what we're saying no to, it's like, oh God, I feel like I'm missing out here. I'm saying no to cake, but what am I saying yes to? I'm saying yes to being fitter, healthier and stronger. When I'm feeling guilty about saying no to someone because I don't really want to go out on Saturday night, I just wanted to sit and chill and be and do my thing. What are we saying yes to? Mental health. We don't need to feel guilty about saying no to something if we can flip it to understand that for every no, there's a yes. There has to be. So if we're saying it no, and if you are like me and you ever get caught up on the no, I have a super, super over effective guilt complex. I have to remind myself, Lisa, you're saying no to this, but what are you saying yes to? And how does that get to be awesome?
Yeah, and that's the important thing. So please understand, The next thing to consider in decision, and that is not that you're saying no to something, is what am I saying yes to by saying no
Mm.
to that?
Mm-hmm.
And it's sometimes we just don't know what we're saying yes to, but we don't know what we should be saying yes to, so we don't say no to the other thing.
Yep.
Okay. And so it's really important. So when you start looking at, these are just some simple tips or techniques or thought process or mindsets you can have around decision making. So I wanted to make sure people understood that. The other thing is, as you move into your organization now, and we talk about the challenges that leaders and business owners have in terms of decision making within their organization, and you and I have experienced this a lot as we bringing in new clients for where they're at to where they are now, where they're at when we see them, where they're at when we meet them, to where we see them now, is that one of the common complaints they have is, I just wish my people would think for themselves and, would show some initiative and make some decisions and all these things that they're saying out there. And as we know, we say, well, hang on, you've created that environment. You've allowed that behavior to happen. You've tolerated that. You've actually empowered them to not think for themselves. You've empowered them to not make decisions because they're just waiting for you, because they know that when you serve the ball to them, you're going to run around the other side of that and serve it back, because you're just going to do it the way you want it done anyway. You're going to make the decision anyway, right? So you haven't really been able to really truly empower your people to make smarter decisions. You made it, like a facade of, oh no, like you guys make the decision, and then you go, yeah, that's really great, but we're still going to do it this way. Oh, we're still going to do it this way. Right? And it's like, oh, no, we're still going to do it this way. And then over a period of time, people are going, what's the point in us doing this? Because you're just going to do it whatever way you want. So we'll just wait here for you just to tell us how you want it done anyhow.
Sounds a bit like a marriage.
Yeah. Yes.
Not one that I'm in, and certainly not one that you're in, Dave, because being married to you every day is like Valentine's Day.
That's right.
But yeah, but it's interesting, it's sometimes we're married to our business, or it feels like that, but the same gets to be true. Like, I've had feedback in the past. It's like, oh, I'm trying to make a good decision here, but you're going to tell me I'm wrong and make a decision anyway. So why would I? I'm just going to sit back here and you're going to tell me where I need to be and when.
Yeah, it's kind of like, when you sit there and you go, hey, what do you want for dinner tonight? And you go, whatever you want. And you're like, okay, let's have Chinese. No, I don't want Chinese. Okay, well, burgers. No, I don't want burgers. Well, what do you want for dinner? I don't care, whatever you want. Okay, let's get sushi. I don't want sushi. Like, just tell me what you want, because I can have whatever I want. That's great. Hey?
Women are so fun.
I wasn't necessarily saying that was a woman. I'm just saying in this scenario, you can take whatever role you wish in that space. But it's true. But leaders are the same. It's like, hey, you guys do what you want to do. Like, hey, just tell us what you think. That's great. And they go, we're going to do this. No, don't want you to do that. Okay, well, we're going to do this then. No, I don't want you to do that. What about that? No, I don't want you to do that. Well, why don't you just tell us what you want us to do then?
Yeah.
Right. And 100%. This is what happens in organizations. Your team are just waiting for you now to tell them, because you've conditioned them to believe that no matter what they come up with, you're the one who's going to make the ultimate decision anyway. And I understand why leaders get in that space. I truly do. It's because they don't have the frameworks for making, like the frameworks to control. And we were talking about this. Actually, I was with one of our clients yesterday who introduced me to this newer client we're bringing on board now. And we were talking about it at the very beginning, and he even admitted, he says, like, I was like controlling. I was a control freak. I was controlling the organization. I was trying to control everything. And I said, yeah, but once we got those frameworks in place for you, you were able to control the frameworks, not to work within the frames. And we've talked about this before in other lives. And he's like, yeah, it was just like, it's not that I didn't lose control. It's just I had greater control of the important things, not trying to control everything.
And that's so cool, because you don't have to, like, that way you don't have to feel like you've got to own your future. So you don't have to get caught by the trappings of success. You don't have to control your future, because, enter Exhibit A, global pandemic, showing us that we can't control shit anyway. But through these frameworks and having decision-making filters, we've got all of that set up in place. So all we need to do is just predetermine what the future looks like by design and just roll everything through that. You don't need to own, be trapped, or control anything. It's super.
Yeah, no, and so this is really important to understand. So it's really cool. So if you want to help your team to start being able to think more for themselves, make smarter decisions, you want to get some more initiative showing in the organization, all these sorts of things that we all long for. Like, I wish my people would, and I have to keep making all the decisions. I have to do the thinking for both of us, and our philosophy on that: if I have to do the thinking for both of us, one of us is redundant.
Yeah.
So what if we could actually create some frameworks in place, create some tools, create a process for our team to make smarter decisions through? And this is where it's really fascinating for people, because they go, yeah, but what if they make the wrong decision? And please understand that when you set up this decision-making filter, and I'm going to share it on screen in a second, this decision-making filter, decision-making process in your organization, if people filter the opportunity or whatever it might be, the situation through this decision-making filter, they can't make a wrong decision, right? They'll just make a decision. Now, whether it's the same as the decision that you would have made or not, so they made this decision, and then here's the decision you thought should have been made in that area. This is what I call a learning moment or a coaching moment. Because now I know what thinking that you've demonstrated through the decision-making process. Like, okay, this is how they got to here. Great. Now I understand where they got to that decision. And I go, well, this is with my extra experience, knowledge, or wisdom where I would love for that person to be. And now I go, well, how do I coach them from here to there? How do I coach that gap? Or if they made a decision and they did something and it was a mistake or a missed take, as we call it in our organization, hey, it was a missed take. It becomes a learning moment, right? I say, hey, what did we learn from that? So that we can make a smarter decision the next time. Okay.
And you are a bloody master at that, Dave. You are so good at that. You know, during my onboarding, from my personal experience, you are the best at that I have ever met and seen and had the privilege of coming across and learning through. And it creates space for people to expand further. And there's going to be some sticky points. And there's going to be time. And I'm sure there was so many times where Dave was be like, oh, just give it here. It's just easier and quicker for me to do it. But that's the challenge. That's where you have to hold yourself in that resolve and go, I'm not going to run around to the other side of the net as much as quickly and as easily as it's going to be for me to return that serve to myself. They're going to do air swings. They're going to fall over. They're going to knock their teeth out. They're going to do the thing. But here's the great thing is that and this is what I love about what you do, Dave, is that by being curious and seeing people where they're at and feeling safe to be seen there, you know where they're at. So you know the gap. So now a map's no good if we don't know where we are. So by being able to find out where people are at, by getting them to start thinking first and foremost, then that's where the magic happens. That's where people start feeling safe to be able to think for themselves, that they're not going to be hauled over the coals for having a go. Because if people don't feel like they can go out on a limb, they're not gonna.
No.
And that's your responsibility to create that safe space for people to do that. So
yeah, absolutely. And thank you for sharing that, because actually it really leads into something very exciting that I want to share with you, a brand new Clarism.
Oh my gosh.
I wrote it down this morning. Actually,
I'm ready.
The notes for today's session.
I'm typing it in right now. This is as live for me as it is for everyone.
Let me just preface again let me do the setup for the. I guess a great comedian would always do the setup for the joke. So we talk about this. So please understand, like in all seriousness, that you're creating either if they made a decision and it wasn't the right one in your mind, that's a learning moment. If they're talking about here's what I think we're going to do, well, then it's a coaching moment. Okay. So you're either going to have a learning moment or you're going to have a coaching moment if you use this process. So here's the new Clarism.
Ooh, let's go.
Right? Having these moments is what will give you momentum.
Oh.
Please understand that allowing these, and to your point, and that's why I thought it was so beautiful when you said that, is like, well, all I did is let you to have those moments, and it's what gave you and us as an organization momentum. If I didn't allow you to have those learning moments or those coaching moments, and I didn't engage in those learning moments or those coaching moments, you would not have got the momentum. We would not have got the momentum that we'd gotten through your development if I just said, Lisa, look, here, let me handle it. I'll just take it. You go practice it again and don't worry. But each one, to your point, was this, and look at the momentum that we've had now because of that. Look at the momentum you've had now because of that, right? So having these moments or allowing these moments is what will give you momentum. So leaders and business owners, I cannot enforce this enough in terms of the seriousness of this. Please allow your team to have learning moments and coaching moments and be involved in the learning moments and the coaching moments, because this is what will give them and your organization momentum.
And can I expand that to say, and that is probably going to be the thing that is going to call the most amount of discipline from you. For you to sit there and not do the thing is probably going to be the hardest thing you do in your organization today, tomorrow, and this month. Not doing it, there's going to have to be so much discipline around that. not going to lie, super, super hard work. So you get to show up with that. You know, what sort of leader do you want to be?
Yeah, and please understand, that momentum, and Dylan's just made a comment on here, which Dylan, hold fire. I'll get to that in a second. That momentum, once again, words, is if you go through the word momentum, which is moment, but there, and the whole beauty of that is actually cause of motion. What caused the motion to happen? What caused you to get into motion, to move? Okay, so you want something juicy, there you go. So having these moments or allowing these moments is what causes you or gives you momentum. And momentum is the cause of motion, is what caused them to move. So if you want your people to move, you want them to move into initiative, you want them to move into decisions, you want them to move into thinking for themselves, you want them to do all this stuff, you got to give them the learning moments, the coaching moments. And Dylan just made a comment here. It's like conversational structures, like the GROW model. And I'm very familiar with the GROW model. I can't remember the exact acronym of what GROW stood for. I mean, there was like goals and, but yes, it is like a conversational structure, Dylan. Yeah, absolutely. 100% mate. And it's like, so if you actually help people with that. Now I'm going to share the actual methodology right now on the screen. And let's see if I can do for the Instagram people here. You're going to share that on the screen so I can help the people on Instagram here. I'll put this here. Yeah, so they should be able to see that. Look at that. I placed the camera perfectly for the Instagram people. So hopefully people on Instagram can hear me. I won't be able to see if you're making any comments on Instagram. But what we've got here is the this is the decision-making process for your organization. So here it is. If you have a very clear sense of purpose with your team, and your purpose being the problem that we're passionate about solving, the purpose is your very first decision-making filter. Okay, please understand your purpose is your very first decision-making filter. Does it serve our purpose, yes or no? So as your team go, and Lisa and Tiana and Jordan go, will it help us to evolve leaders and the businesses to stay relevant, yes or no? And if they don't think it will, then they will reject it. Right? If they do think it was, they'll go, okay, great. Now let's look at it through the lens of our values. And this is where it gets really interesting. So values are the unique thinking of our business, right? It's the second decision-making filters. Most people think values are our first decision-making filter. No, they're your second decision-making filters. And also, if you have the unique thinking of your business crystallized and labeled correctly for your organization, the next thing where people look at values, they go, well, does it align with our values? My values don't have to be aligned with your values, but as long as my values don't reject your values, right? So does it reject at any of our values? Okay, so when we have the unique thinking of our business, what makes us unique in the way we think about that purpose? So as Simon Sinek tells you, people buy why you do what you do. Great. Does it serve our purpose? Yes or no? But at Circle Leadership, we are darn well going to tell you that your values are why they buy it from you. So you make sure you have your unique thinking in place. You go, hang on, does this reject at any of our values? Because we don't want to work with clients who rejected our values. Anyone ever taken on a client that they wish they hadn't or a customer because they didn't fit with their values? So does it reject at our values? And if it doesn't reject our values, let me tell you that. If it does reject at our values, it's to say, okay, it goes out. But people just say, it's not carte blanche. Okay, that's it. We're not dealing with that anymore. It's like if a potential client rejected our values, and I was talking about this organization the other day about how they make decisions. And he goes, yeah, we got these clients. And we're like, yeah, well, what if you were actually then to go, hang on, well, it's sort of rejecting at our values. What can we do to work with them to bring them back into there so it doesn't reject? And then if we can work with them to do that, that'd be great. And then they can come back through. Or if they choose not to, then they just stay out. So just because it got rejected initial run through doesn't mean, well, hang on, what would we need to do? How could we work with this to bring it back through? Right? So if we go through, does it fit with our purpose? Does it reject our values? And then the third decision-making filter is your vision. Will it help us move us towards the vision of the world, the impact on the world we want to have in the next 10 or 20 years? So not only does it align with our purpose, it doesn't reject our values, it also is something that's really going to be awesome, that's going to move us forward to having the impact we want to have on the world. Then the next question we have to ask ourselves, will it help us fulfill our mission? Will it help us become the organization we need to become in the next 3 years? The next evolution of our business? Will it help us become that organization that we need to become? And if it's yes, it keeps going on. And so what we've done now is we've just taken that decision through the narrative of our organization. So words form a narrative. So we've taken it through the narrative of our organization now. And then we're moving into the story. Does it fit with the story of our organization? So words form a narrative, but numbers tell the story. And of course, it's our job as leaders to make sure the narrative and the story match. So as we go through the mission, we go, okay, yes, it's going to help us become or evolve into who we need to in the next 3 years. Well, then who would need to be involved in or provide support into this decision? Is there anybody else who would need to be involved in this? And then we go, okay, based on that, then what's the cost benefit? What are the pros and cons? Is there a cost benefit analysis of this for this particular decision? And then who would be involved in executing on that and the resources that may be needed? And then the last part is, when should we do this? Where does it fit or how does it help us either achieve our quarterly objectives, or is it the next 12 months or the next 3 years? Because we might get to this stage here and go, hey, Lisa, that was a phenomenal idea. But, based on our business evolution roadmap, what we're looking at right here, where do you think that fits? Oh, Dave, it's something we need to do in the next 12 months for sure. So it's not in this quarter, right? No, but it has to be done within the next 12 months. Beautiful. Let's put that in our next strategic planning cycle in the next quarter to talk about there. And let's stay focused on what we're working on now.
So good.
Because what can happen is we, like I say, everything that we've got mapped out in terms of the objectives we're working on this quarter are the things that we've determined give us traction. Everything outside of that is a
distraction.
All right. It's something that distracts us from moving forward. So for our organization, we want to make sure that our team go, hey, yeah, this is great. We go, oh, yeah, I can see why it doesn't fit here. Or they could go and challenge, hey, Dave, this thing with, looking at this, I think this is really equally important, if not more important, possibly than some of the things we're working on right now. Can we have a conversation about that? And here's why I've got to that conclusion. Awesome. Learning moment, coaching moment, or, hey, you know what? You're right. Wow, great pickup. Thank you for identifying that. Boom. Let's shift that.
And I love that as well, because if people don't feel like, I don't know if anybody else has felt like this before, but you have this great idea and you take it to your leader and they just completely squash it straight away. And you're like, oh, well, now my soul is crushed and I'm not ever going to give myself permission to think freely in this space again because it's not going to be seen and heard. So this way, people are still able to come up with great ideas. And the really awesome thing is every great idea that someone else comes up with is one that you don't have to come up with. And if they have a values set that empowers them to think in a certain way, it's not a crap idea that you're then going to have to fix. It feels seen, it feels heard, and it gets to be allocated in a way that's either going to enhance exactly what we're doing now, or it's not going to take away from what we're doing now. And it's not a great idea that's going to get lost. So I love this. So good. Yeah.
So when you, if anybody would like that decision-making process, if they just put hashtag decisions in the live streams anywhere you're at, we'll make sure you get a copy of that decision-making process for your organization. Okay. Hi, Rainey. Rainey's just joined us online. Say hi to my wife.
Hi, Rainey and Dave's wife. I'm going to have a crack at running this decision-making filter through what to have for dinner tonight.
Dylan just raised a comment here. How do you get your goal purpose across while having a powerful conversation leading to your point goal, having your buyers, consumers want more? Okay. If I'm understanding the question correctly, Dill, how do you get your goal purpose across? Okay. So if your goal versus purpose are two different things to start with. So if you want to get people buy why you do what you do, right? So the people want to buy, people don't buy your product or services, they buy what it does for them. Okay. So from your purpose, and this is for anyone watching this, I know we're past our things. So if anybody has to go who's on the live stream, thank you so much for your time and attention. We love you. But I'm going to keep talking to people on Instagram or anyone who's coming up for now. So Dill, get very clear on your purpose of your business, which is the problem that you're passionate about solving. Their problem, where your passion and their problem collide, that's where your purpose lies. And then when you're able to clearly articulate that, when you're talking to people, that's what they're going to want to buy. And then when you're very clear on what makes you unique in the way you think about that problem that you're passionate about solving, as I talked about in terms of your values there, that's why they're going to buy it from you. Okay, because how you uniquely think about it. Dylan's partner, she's an amazing videographer. It's a God's Visual. It's called GODDS Visual. If anybody's looking for video work, Sabina at God's Visual, she does amazing work in Canada, like phenomenal videos, 30-second, 60-second commercials. And she, if you look at the way she does her videos, obviously there's a unique thinking that she has in the way that she does that. But she has to be able to find a way to articulate what that uniqueness in the way that she thinks about solving that problem for people to express their brand's emotionally to the marketplace, right? Because she really captures the emotion of every brand that's out there, and then in the way that she does her videoing. So I would challenge from that perspective is you got to get clear on that sense of purpose and those values, because people buy why you do what you do, but your values are why they buy it from you. So if you're trying to portray that across, that's what you're selling. The fact that you can do videos and all the things and products and things like that, that's just the tools you use in order to do those things. When you want to build your dream home, right? And you don't say, well, hang on, Mr. or Mrs. Carpenter, can you show me the hammer you're going to use? What saws are you using? What types of you don't worry about that. They're selling you on the ability to build this dream home for you. This picture that you have of what that house is going to look like and things like that, and what you're going to be able to do living in it, the indoor, outdoor, and how you're going to family's going to interact in that home.
Indoor, outdoor.
Yeah, and that's what you're buying. You're not buying the saws and the hammer and the timber and unless
that's
it's
so true.
Yeah.
Same with an architect. You're not going, what sort of pencils are you using? Is that what brand of computer?
Or an HB lead pencil? Yeah. Is that did you buy that at Officeworks? Did you get that at Home Depot? Where is that paper from Jackson Supplies? You don't need to know that stuff. I don't care as a consumer about that. What I care about is my belief in you, that you understand the problem that I want passionately solved. And the way you think about it is why I'm choosing you to do this for us. Our clients choose us to help them evolve themselves and their businesses to stay relevant because of they want to do that. They want to create that space and capacity. But they choose us because we make it in a very simple way, a very caring way, a very insightful way, using lots of wisdom and practical experience, right? Like the way we do this. That's why they choose us. So this is why people buy. That's the consumers. So please understand, guys. And Jeff from BMG has just joined us as well, live on the Instagram channel here. We'll be seeing him.
See you later, Jeff.
See you later tonight.
Or tomorrow morning for you.
The live stream, though. Really appreciate having you here. So like decisions. All right. When you want to help your consumers to make smarter decisions, well, you're going to use the same thing. They're going to go, hang on, does it help me? Are you the person who can help? Well, what you do, is it going to solve my problem for me? And then the next thing they're going to go through is your values, and they're going to go, are you the person I want to solve that problem for me? Are you the type of organization that I want to have solve that problem for me? Okay. And when I say problem, it doesn't have to be like it's an opportunity. It can be like just contextually, right? I need something, I don't have it. That's a problem. I don't have something, I need something, that's an opportunity. Whatever way you want to look at it, but please understand that when I'm talking about problems, it's not like, oh my God, my life's a mess and I have this big problem and I need it solved. Okay, it's just because I've been challenged by that before. It's like, well, not everything's a problem, and I'm like I get that. But if I want something and I don't have it, that's a problem. If I need something and I don't have it, that's a problem.
It is.
Jeff just said, hey, Dave, Lisa, I'll miss you tomorrow morning. I'm off to go camping. Oh, good for you, mate. Taking some time off. Well done, mate. Go enjoy the camping. Watch out for the bears. Enjoy with that. Hope you go out with family and friends and having a great time.
Peter Sharp got you in the house.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, Peter, there from Perth as well.
Can I just thank everybody for the engagement on Instagram and the engagement online today? We really value it and really appreciate you guys jumping on and participating with us here in these things. It does mean a lot to us to know that this is valuable to you guys, and just your contribution makes it all worthwhile. So thank you. So anyway, so decisions, I guess, just a reminder, decide, cut off. It's learning what to say yes to by saying no to that, so I can say yes to something. Please understand, you got to know what that yes is so you can know what to say no to. And it's no different to that whole, this is what say yes to what gives you traction and say no to everything that is a distraction. Okay, so that's one of the key things. And it's about how do we help our teams learn to think for themselves, because you've conditioned them not to think for themselves. If they're not, if they are, that's awesome. But if they're not, it's because you've conditioned that, you've allowed that to happen. So how do you reverse that cycle? Don't expect it all of a sudden, because all of a sudden you let them make decisions that they're going to start automatically making them. You're going to have to bring them along now on a journey and make them feel the safe space that they can start making journeys. Because they go and make a decision and you go, hey, I'm going to empower you to make smarter decisions now. And you go, yeah. And they go, yeah, I'm going to do this. And you go, oh my God, you idiot. What are you doing? Why would you even think that? All of a sudden you're like, Right?
How does it
You
go
just,
again?
you just burst their balloon. That's it. They're out. They're done. They're never going to come back to you. Like, I tried that once. It doesn't work. It's stupid. It's just stupid. Right? So it's not going to happen. And so just remember that. And if you're working through that decision-making process that we shared, there can be no wrong decisions. Could it be a smarter or better decision? Yes, but the whole point of this is to help your team to make smarter decisions. And it's not saying they're not making smart decisions, but how do we make even smarter decisions?
Yeah.
Right. And in those, making sure you create those or allow space for those learning moments or those coaching moments. If it was a decision and it was a wrong decision and they acted on it, it's a learning moment in your mind if it was wrong. Like, it wasn't the best decision or the right decision. It's a learning moment. If they're coming to you and say, here's what I'm thinking, great. I now know what you're thinking. I know what thinking I want you to have. Coaching moment. Okay. And please understand that having those moments is what's going to give you and your team or yourself momentum. Allowing those moments to happen is where the momentum is going to come from. Okay, and momentum is just what's caused us into motion. But if you deny those or don't do that or don't allow that, you're not going to get the momentum you're looking for. Okay, and sometimes us as leaders have to evolve in terms of that, our space and capacity to allow that space and capacity for people to make those decisions. And this is when we're controlling and we're trying to hold on to everything. It's going, well, hang on a second. If I actually can control the frameworks and hold the vision and do the things that I need to do as a leader, and I'm holding that vision, and then allowing the team, there's so much space and capacity now because I'm holding this 10-year vision and this 3-year mission and saying, here's who we need to become, right? I don't have all the answers on how we're going to become the organization we need to become, right? I don't have all the answers. I have my answers, but I don't have all the answers. And I want to make sure that the best idea wins. And so if I don't allow you guys the space and capacity and to bring your best talent to work every day, bring your best self to work today, and then give you the space and capacity to become even more while you're here, we're never going to have the momentum if I don't allow the moments to happen.
And that's the thing, not letting things like smart and best and good get in the way of smarter and better and gooder and greater, which is all infinite, or besterer, or unicornier, right? And I just wanted, and I know we're way over time today. And again, to Dave's point earlier, thank you everybody that's engaged and jumped on. When we're talking about, when you're saying, and this is something that I'm really passionate about, not getting caught up on the no, and not feeling guilty about something you're saying no to. Sometimes we don't know what we want. Sometimes we don't know what the yes is. And Dave was just saying before, how do we know what the yes is? And I found myself in situations in the past going, I don't know what I want, but I know that it's not this. The great thing is, because you know what the no is, you know what the yes is. So if you don't know what you want, but you know that it's not this, what's the opposite of this? And get on that path and see where that scenic route might take you.
Hi, Zaywagen. There's people saying hi online there. Dylan's raised another question on here, which is really cool. He says, how do you gain opportunity with bigger clientele potential, like such as filming a commercial for them as they're looking at the video business, for example, for Walmart, without as much content? So like really cool. So here's a really neat strategy. And I know this might not be tied to decision making once again, but if you want to do something, I wanted to, back in Canada with the leadership business we had in Canada, I wanted to work with Honda. I wanted to get in there because doing our personal and organizational leadership development, I thought like Honda's the big fish, right? If I can get into Honda. You just wanted
a free motorbike, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. CBR 600. Anyway, so I wanted to get in with Honda and thought, well, how, like there's no magical bridge that walks me straight into Honda, right? But so what I did is I looked so who are all the suppliers to Honda? And I went, who are all the tier 1 suppliers to Honda, right? And I started looking, okay, well, so there was Kumi Plastics, there was F&P Manufacturing, there's a whole bunch of other ones. So what I did is I started actually working my way into how do I get in front of those people to be of service to those people? And all of a sudden, okay, so then F&P became a client and Kumi became a client. And then if I started working my way around, I said, well, I'm already taking care of, 6 of your tier 1 suppliers. Love to have a chat to you about the work we're doing with them just so you can understand what's happening.
That's so good.
It's what I call circling the wagons. So Dylan, sometimes you might have to circle the wagons. So if you want to get into a Walmart, look at all the people who Walmart, the strategic partners of Walmart are, and what can you do for them? And then when Walmart see the stuff you're doing for their strategic network or their ecosystem, it go, hey, we're the ones who've done all that work for their ecosystem. Now, I also talked to Dylan and Sabina about this the other night, to say, and my buddy Tom, Tom who did the great work for us over in Brisbane, and Black Sheep Communications, so Black Sheep Comms, shout out to them, Tom and the team at Black Sheep. I remember when Tom, he was first getting into it, he said, like, how do I get in front of some of these places? Like, I've seen this dealership down the road here, this Mercedes dealership down the road, and they can be doing so much better. And I said, well, dude, why don't you just go and film something? Go and do something, prepare a campaign, do something for them, and just go, hey, saw this thing, here's the work that I'm in, thought you might appreciate this, and educate them and give them something for free.
Yep.
Well, like, well, I'm not going to do it if I don't get paid. I'm like, well, then they're never going to know who you are. And then you're never going to know what you're capable of. So, Dill, as much as that is, like, Sabina had, he had Dylan, and he's Dylan's a Suzuki boy. I don't know. How I failed as a father and he became a Suzuki boy, I have no idea. Honda, number one under the sun, son, number one under the sun. Anyway.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, that was just for Instagram, everyone. But yeah, like, so, if you think, like, you look at these, like a car, like, so if I look at my Zen, right, like, and you thought, wow, like, that's just what that car is, and like, if they only, the emotion that, and if the way you look at, I know Sabina looks at things she can just see emotion in things, right? And emotion, so things in motion, that's where the emotion comes from, right? So the emotional connection. Go and create something and just send it to them as a sample, as a little teaser, as a whatever. When you walk through Costco or any of the big stores, they have the little person sitting there with the little, here, try our sample, cookies or biscuits, or try this new scone or whatever it is, because they want you to go, oh, that tastes really great. I want to buy a box of that. But if we don't allow them the opportunity to see our work and hoping that they just will someday, and we just, throw it at them by osmosis, they might go, oh, what was that stuck on our window? Oh, that's somebody's thing. Great. Or do something of meaning for that person and do it because you are passionate about the problem you're solving in the world for them. Just do it.
How are people meant to see the value in us if we don't give them an opportunity to value us in the first place? How do we get to add value so that they can see the value that we've got and they can engage our value? We go first. You go first. The universe goes further.
Yeah. I went, actually, this is how the process we have today, right? I made a decision that I was going to give away virtually everything that we did for a very, very, very small fee. And when we did the case study way back 4 or 5 years ago now, worked with the 25 leaders over 4 months in their kitchens, in their engine rooms, everything like that, I made a decision, look, I want to give you everything that I'm capable of, all the tools, resources I've gathered over the years. I want to give them to you at a very, very small fee. But in the return, I would love to work with you for the next 4 months and be able to document what resonated, what worked, what didn't work, things where it added value, what didn't add value. So then I can actually build something that I knew that small business owners and leaders would truly value, that we could bring to the world. So I gave away virtually everything over the past 25 years of my last, experience as a personal organization development as a leader, everything, all the tools and resources I developed, things I've learned, everything like that. The work I've done leading organizations, they got access to all of it. So that I, in return, then could find a way that I could be best of service to those people. Because they were the types of people I really wanted to impact in the world. So if you know who you really want to help and you want to impact in the world, go and find out how you can be best of service to them. And that might mean you might need to do a free little video for them and say, hey, look, this is the way I looked at your business. And I don't know if anyone's ever looked at it like this way for you, but I created this. I just wanted you to see something. Like, that's what I would challenge you to do. Especially, I know Z Photography, like Z's there, like Z's a phenomenal photographer, and the way he looks at things, he'll see things, he'll take a picture. Like, if you see something for somebody's business or somebody, go take that photo of them and just say, hey, this is what I saw. And if it resonates with them, they go, holy crap, no one's ever seen that in me or in my business or in my product or my service or my offering. Go and do that. Yeah. So Dylan was saying, so what about going to Honda dealership to film a video and then give it to them as a teaser sample or create our own video of some cars? Yeah, like, just if you want to talk to a Honda dealer about doing something there, go film some Hondas, go do some filming around their dealership or something that would resonate with them going, here's how we see your dealership. Here's how we see, Hondas. Here's how we see, because if you're seeing it slightly different how they've been presenting it, and then they're going, finally, we found somebody who actually can see what we always know to be true inside our business. Because this is what, we talk about, culture is how we think and feel about our business, right? So when we can speak with that love to the market about why we love doing what we're doing, and we can speak that brand is how the market and consumer thinks and feels about our business, right? So when people go get this branding exercise, get all this stuff done, and then say, here's the outwardly facing stuff of our business we think will resonate with our clients, and let's try and live that inside the business, rather than going, let's capture the soul and DNA of our business and speak with love to the market, that the market, which is the brand, the way the market and consumers think of you, can't help but fall in love with why we do what we do. Okay? So if you can capture that, if anyone out there in your business, if you can help capture that part of it and be able to show them something that no one else has been able to show, to capture that emotion of their business, the soul and DNA, and if you have the ability to do that as video or photography or whatever, then we'll go and do it and show them something different. Because if you go at them, and the reason why a lot of people don't get into some of these organizations, they already have relationships with commercial people, videographers, photographers, you name it, right? But they're not going to shift to somebody else who sounds or looks just like everybody else. Someone who can do equally as great as the people who are already doing it for them. If you're already doing what's equally as great, or marginally, subtly different, you're not going to get a look. There's nothing, no contrast there. There's nothing to go, hey, this is it. Oh, and you're kind of like, oh, you're around it. Your hand's a little bigger than mine, but that's it. But also when you go, holy crap, you're seeing what I'm like, I never saw that. I've never seen that before.
It's polarizing, but it onboards people or it repels people. But either way, you'll know. And to that point as well, David, I think this has been such a great dialogue and conversation. Thanks, everyone. When you're standing out from the other people, it reminds me of 9 out of 10 dentists recommend Colgate, like on the ad or whatever it is. What does the one guy know? What does the one guy do that the others don't? Be that one guy or girl. What might that look like?
The reason why that 10th one doesn't, because he's not getting paid to recommend it, so he chooses to do what's best for his patients. Sorry, Colgate. I didn't mean that.
What?
Not using Colgate as an example. Well, possibility, right?
Yeah.
Why does that 10th dentist not recommend Colgate?
What does he know that the others don't? And what's better about what he's doing that is like not meh?
Yeah. So Dylan just made a comment here. Okay, so by showing what makes us different, yes, not what makes them different. What makes you different will be expressed through the way you capture, the way you see what it is that you see that other people aren't seeing about that dealership, about that car, about whatever it is, that brand. Yeah, and so Z's putting understanding what the client wants. Yeah, but sometimes, Z, to your point here, is the client doesn't know what they want. They need to be shown something that they go, holy crap, I didn't know I wanted that, but I did. And those are like the simplest, funniest old school thing is this. None of us knew we wanted a fax machine until one was made.
It's true.
None of us know we wanted an iPod until Steve Jobs said, we found a way to put 1,000 songs in your pocket or whatever. Nobody knew they wanted that until it was shown to them. So sometimes people don't know what they want until you can show them something that they never seen before. And they go, holy crap, that's actually what I've always wanted.
That's amazing.
Okay, so don't be afraid to be the one who puts something different out there or unique in the way that you think about it. Show that to them.
And also using this, if you're saying no, what he's saying yes to concept before, if your customers and your clients don't know what they want, and they're like, I don't know what I want, I just know that it's not this. Use that in dialogue. Go, oh, okay, so what I'm hearing is that you don't want this. So then is it possible that you might want this, and just flip to what the opposite of that is? You don't have to be an expert in their field in order to be able to apply the opposite to something. And they're like, oh my God, yes, that's it. It's just helping people get out of their own goldfish bowl. Yeah.
And it's the interesting thing. If you ever do this, you go talk to someone and say, hey, what do you want? And they go, the first thing they'll start telling you is all the things they don't want.
Yep. So good.
Because most people can clearly tell you what they don't want. And this will get to the whole point of back to saying what to say, saying no to that so you can say yes to it. Most people don't know what to say yes to. So they just say yes to everything. So that's why they don't say no to the things that they should be saying no to, because they haven't got crystallized in their mind what they should be saying yes to. And because most people don't know what they want until it's presented to them. Like I said, I didn't know I wanted a fax machine back then. I didn't know I wanted an iPod. I didn't know I wanted a mobile phone. I didn't know I wanted all this stuff until someone said, hey, we've got this thing. It's different to what everyone else is doing. You go, holy crap, that's what I want. I can see
You're
it
really
now.
showing your age now, Dave.
I know. I didn't know I wanted that 8-track. I didn't know I wanted an 8-track until someone created an 8-track.
I didn't know I wanted that NFT. Didn't know I wanted.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know I wanted that.
What do
Yeah,
I
these
want now?
fancy new words, whatever they are. Yeah. So please understand, like, sometimes clients don't know what they want, but they definitely know what they don't want.
Yeah.
And what they don't want is change to another supplier, strategic partner, or whatever in their organization, or to serve their organization that's just the same as everybody else. When you strive to be better than your competitors, you're still comparable. But when you strive to be different, you stand alone. Okay? So when you strive to be better than your competitors, you're comparable. But when you strive to be different, you stand alone. Don't be afraid to be different. Right? I was talking to Dylan and Sabina. Sabina, like, as a videographer, what makes her unique, which is really, really cool for anybody out there watching, is Sabina's been on both sides of the camera. Most videographers, photographers, they're so used to being behind the camera. Well, Sabina started on the front of being in the camera, like in terms of the lens was on her and the videos were on her. So she knows what it's like to be on the other side of the camera, right? And so really when you're looking for a videographer, for example, in Canada, and I think they're based in Edmonton, if you're looking for a videographer and you want somebody who understands like what it's like to be on both sides of the camera and can capture both sides because they've experienced both sides, very few videographers have been on both sides of the camera. But she's been on both sides, right?
Absolutely.
And so she knows what it is. She knows how to present the artistic side, the emotional side on the other side, but also how to capture that. And if that's what makes you unique, then you need to hone in on that and show how that uniqueness would look for whatever organization that you're working with.
And I love that I love that we've got Sabina, and I love that we've had Z on, like our photographers and our videographers, because these guys, it's just so perfect, right? And it's because they're capturing the essence of things. It's their ability to see things and see people and to be able to present that in a way that people feel seen and heard. And that is what we're doing when we're chatting to our market, when we're chatting to our customers, when we're talking to our clients, seeing them as people first, seeing them in their no, hearing their no, making note of that. That is gold. Because if you know what their no is, you know what their yes is. And if you really, really see and hold and cultivate and capture that in a space that they feel seen and heard in that, then you speak that back to them. And this is where we're going to be moving into some leadership coaching with our clients in the next couple of strongs. When you can help communicate in a way that the people you're chatting to feel seen and heard exactly where they are, show that you've paid attention, you care enough to pay attention to speak back to them what they don't want. And then you're suddenly the most amazing thing that they've ever seen or heard, because you care, they feel seen and heard, and you're going to offer them all of the solutions, which you know nothing about. They just gave you all of the answers by what they told you they didn't want. All you're doing is flipping it. That is just mind-blowing client care.
Absolutely. When we talk about being radically client-centric, right? Like, that's how powerful. Like, and please, it's easy to talk about, right? Ideas are easy. Execution is everything.
Yeah.
But it's also being willing to actually get up and do the things that need to be done, and go and do the video. And especially when we're talking with some videographers and some photographers and all that here, the challenge that a lot of them have that I've experienced is that, of course, it's a very subjective thing. Like videography, photography is a subjective thing. And sometimes we're afraid to put it out there because it'll be judged. But you know what? I look at the videos I used to do before, and I'm like, oh my God, they're so bad. And you know what? In 3 years from now, we'll be looking back at these videos and we're going, oh my God, they're so bad.
If you saw my setup right now, it's like, it's great. It's so good. There's boxes, there's chairs. There's
I've got a photo of it. I'm going to be putting up in return for the kind of photos you put up of my faces and things that the B-roll stuff that we do at Circle Leadership. So please understand, guys, like this has been an awesome conversation. I really value your time and attention, once again, because I know what it's worth. And so that means a lot to us that you were sharing that with us. Hopefully there's been a tremendous value to you guys online on Instagram, to everyone on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. And thank you so much for your contribution, Z, Tiana, Dill, Jeff, everybody else who's been joining in. If there are other comments, not every single comment shows up, unfortunately, that we can always see until we see it afterwards. So thank you very much. But remember, like if you're a business owner leader and you want that decision-making process document, #decisions, and we'll make sure they get that. If anything you've seen in this live stream you want further information on, just put a comment in either on Instagram or on any of the other platforms that you're on. And Tiana, myself, Lisa, and or Jordan will get back to you with whatever it is you want or need and be able to support you with that. Okay? But for now, I think we best go. It's been an hour. This has been awesome. This has been like...
What a great conversation. So good.
Yeah, and to say, I'm glad we decided to do this.
Me too. That was so bad. It was good.
Yeah. Okay. Everyone, take care. Love you all. Thanks very much. Everyone there, love you too. Thank you. And we'll see you next Thursday for whatever we decide to do next Thursday.
It'll be epic. Okay, bye.
I'm sure Tiana will tell us what we're supposed to do.
Yes. Oh, we love you, Tiana. Bye.